Hi everyone. Oh, it's hot. It's hot here in the Pacific Northwest. I thought I'd just wear this. It's kind of thin and it's a little cooler compared to other clothes I have. But anyway, I like to do, an update, the after hours update. I've gone through a lot of stuff lately, walking around and meeting people and everything. And I told you the other day about red cars and black cars. Is it red cars and black cars? Absolutely red cars and black cars. My sister Bonnie bought a black car when she got divorced. Then me and Ernie talked about this, and it had red interior in it. You know what? I've already gone over this too. And matter of fact, I was just telling you about red cars. They'll park this way, that way, and the other end. It may be black cars too. It is black cars, by the way. Yesterday, I went down here, I do my walk, I go and I meet all these great people up here. But when I get over there to Steamboat Landing, there's people that come down there. You know what? Steamboat Landing, is a place, it's an in-between place. It's just there. Matter of fact, the city septic is near there even. The scum actually hangs out in that area. But good people come in there fish, but scum will hang out in that area because the septic's down there and stuff. And these people will actually park near the septic. They'll park near garbage because nobody will park near garbage, they're thinking too. And they do this. And, I went all over yesterday, but I ended up down there at Steamboat Landing for a while, not too long. But I went down there, I took my little fishing pole down there, and I just drove my little car down there. And, I walked, I did exercise and stuff. I walked around a while, and I grabbed my fishing pole, and I went down on the pier, and I went down there to go fishing. And I met a bunch of people there, and I met a couple that was sitting right there at this certain spot, where there's a bench there on the dock. And this is the same dock that they had to replace because in 2014 it fucking just got ripped out of here because of the events, the weather events and stuff that happened down there in 2014. Again, there's weather events back in August, September. They had to do work down there in that area because of a flash vortex of weather, and I was right there in it. I documented it too. Diane, that weather storm there, that came up just a while back, and she ended up getting her hip broke. That happened there too. I met Eve down there, that happened there too. I met Matthew Thomas there, that happened there too. A lot of things happen down there. Here's sirens and stuff. I don't like sirens. People shouldn't have to listen to sirens. They shouldn't have, these are sirens. They affect people. And like at noon, they have a bell that rings down here. In 2014, that bell ringing, man, that just about killed me out here on 2014, out here at 1007th Street in Camas. It was just terrible. You never want to be cursed by the Holy Father. You never want to be cursed by Satan, evil, whatever this ultimate thing is. And there goes the EMTs. Red truck right there. And so many people were following red vehicles today like a bunch of fucking ambulance chaser. I even witnessed all these red cars following a fire truck today, and I even witnessed a person in a red Jeep turn around in the middle of the road right there by the Lewis Sutton Park right there next to Safeways. I mean, fucking ambulance chasers on these red cars. Fire trucks, well, they're all just gonna run together, and there was like 4 or 5 red vehicles following this, and there was maybe one other car, and you could tell it was just driving the same way, and these ones were driving right with it, even speeding. I mean, Now you go and take this, I went down the steamboat landing and I'm there on the dock, you know, I met all these here people, and you know, I walked up here and I'm just fishing because there's no place to sit, and I talked to these here people. Pretty soon these people came up, then they got done, and they came over, and you know, they talked to me on the way out, they stopped talking to me, you know, and because I stopped talking to them. Everybody liked me down there, but except this one guy, this big guy, and you know, he wore dark clothes. I don't think he even wore a red hat. I really don't think he even wore a red hat. I'm not picking that out either. I'm just saying I just don't see it. But I walked, when those people got done talking to me and they walked the other way, I said, I'm going to go sit where you guys were at. I went over there and I sat there because that's where I sat when me and Eve was there. I sat here and Eve sat over there. So I went back over there and I sat where I met Eve there. And you know, this guy, I'm to it, and he starts walking over there, and you know what? That motherfucker started bullying me for that fucking spot to sit. I had been sitting there, I already cast my line, and he came up and he's standing right there like this, like I got his dock, like I got his spot. I said, do you think that I got your spot? You know, because I fucking read it right too. That motherfucker came over there and he did this. And you know, I said, oh, you think I beat you to your spot? You think that you're entitled to the spot, don't you? And he's sitting there, and I said, you're standing right behind me. I said, you shouldn't be standing right behind me doing that. I said, you're a little fucking close for what you're doing, because he started fucking hovering me. And that's the fucking person that I'm going to kill on the dock. I just want you to know that. And I fucking, oh, you really, you know, you want this spot really goddamn bad, don't you? You know? I said, well, I'm sitting here. I said, I beat you to it. You know? And I said, are you still standing there? You know, after a minute, because he says, it's a free dock. I could stand anywhere I want to stand. You know, like that. I said, well, to tell you the truth, I'm done fucking fishing. Are you fucking happy now? I said, hey, my dad was D.B. Cooper. My dad was a Zodiac. I said, I've been fucking held by fucking AR-15s in my family. He says, I've been held by AR-15s in my family. I said, you know what? You're gonna fucking pay, motherfucker. You know, and that's what I said in my brain. And all of a sudden, I hear, he's fucking dead. You know, like this, like his life is coming to an end because of the way that he fucking does things. Oh, and by the way, I just walked off. I said, you can have it. I said, I hope you're happy now, because I already heard he's dead. I said, I really hope you're happy now. Here's another ambulance. It's the law enforcement's following up with it, I guess. But anyway, or on a call. One of the two, EMTs, fire, you know. Then anyway, so I just walked on. I walked on doing my thing, what I do. And I went down, I talked to all these here people. Everybody's fucking happy, smiling, fucking talk to me and stuff like they fucking know, you know. So, and the place, I have never seen the Steamboat Landing Park more packed with people than this weekend, ever. So, good things are happening down there in the commerce end of it. People are coming down there anyway. You know, better than ever before, because what? Riffraff's been pushed out of there. Now, this here guy, he's big, and he's in dark clothes. Oh, and guess what? He walked. I was wondering, now, which one's this guy's car? Because none of them was red. There was no red cars there. This guy comes over. I seen him. I watched him walk over. He watched me. He seen my motorhome, just like I told him there'd be a motorhome up there that says D.B. Cooper's son right on the side. We came up there and he looked at that, you know, like that. He walked over. He got in his car and stuff, you know. His car, little black car. the smallest fucking black car in the whole fucking parking lot. That big motherfucker fit in that fucking car. How is that? How's that to be such a fucking dick? A fucking great big man have to fucking be in a fucking little black car because you're so fucking pathetic. Pathetic. That guy was totally fucking pathetic. Nobody down there would even talk to the guy. Anyway, I hate people, and that's why I hate fucking people. I fucking hate them. I keep telling myself I hate fucking people. And you know what? I think it's Eve that's actually saying through me, she hates everybody for what's happened to her. Eve fucking hates everybody for what's fucking happened to her. And I'll tell you, in the middle of the night, you know, it could either be really good or it could fucking get real fucking bad, like she's angered and stuff like that, you know, and I just don't want her into that position at all. But it seems like if I don't, oh boy, I'll tell you what, she is a vicious type of a person that's jealous of people that seem to be interested in me. And I know that for a fact. I mean, you know, I get this feel. She's a very protective person. Actually, I know Satan and Eve has to be protected over me, because if anything happens to me, I'm their fucking asset. I'm really their asset. You know, I'm the only one that can pull the rabbit out of the hat and make it happen, or, you know, everybody gets saved, or everybody it's just goddamn over. You know, so I say Joshua inside the cup, Joshua outside of the cup. I've been having a good weekend, even though I seen this here shit. You know, I walked back there already knowing, you know, like ESP, something's gonna goddamn happen before the situation even happened with me and that person. But goddamn, all I wanted to do was knock his fucking fat ass right off that goddamn dog. But then again, that motherfucker got so humiliated on the dog because everybody knows I was quietly having words to that motherfucker in his face, probably. Because I was saying shit right there on the dock. I was like, you think this is your spot, huh? You know, you just think just because, you know, like this. Oh, John T. Wright at YouTube, tune in, I told him. You know, like that. I hope you got the fucking message, fat man in a little black car. You're very narrow-minded. It's Joshua inside the cup, Joshua outside the cup. And when I see you before you come to heaven, I'm going to be right there fucking reminding you of every goddamn thing, like I am right here today. Right here on the MTM Mountaintop After Hours Party. I don't like to tell you guys bad news that happens during the week. Susan Donahoe, she's down there at the park. That park was jam-packed with people today. You know, after the city did this, usually Susan Donahoe has her motorhome out there with all of her shit spewed all over the place. And her boyfriend has a red truck with the hood up all the time, facing the street. So the hood's up like this here. So it's just always at you like that. You know, they use it for a shield, they use it for a block, but I'll tell you what, it's a red truck that's with bitches like that. And I'll tell you what, these women, a lot of these women will pick up on these gay guys. Why? Fuck, they're harmless. They go out and fuck anybody they want, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I've been out of the situation for so long that I can only, you know, hey, I'll tell you what, women get wild and stuff like that. I've ran bowling alleys. But I'm not gay, and I have some gay friends. I mean, I know they're fucking gay, but what they do in their fucking home and whatever they do is behind my fucking eyes. They don't sit there and smear their shit on me. I don't fucking bother them. They don't bother me. You know, they used to come in and go bowling. I don't give a fuck. Go bowl over there. I won't put anybody over there that's going to bother you, because I know people that will bother people in the bowling alley. I mean, I had half the bowling alley that had people in it. I had a bowling alley that didn't have no one in it. I mean, and these people are fine because, hell, they could bowl on any lane they want with no one else on the lane. It was perfect for them. They wanted to be goddamn privileged. And that's just what it is, too. These goddamn people in these red trucks and these black trucks want to be privileged. And that fucking black line is that black line that they put on the flag. The American flag is red, white, and blue. But I'll tell you what, it's the blue that always comes and saves the red. You see, the blue's over there in that their corner, and these guys think that like red and white's against the blue, you know, or something. I mean, it's zodiac, it's signs, and they run by signs and stuff too. You know, I'm thinking about what's going on as we're just talking, but I do know this. My dad's birthday is on June 16th, okay? June 16th. Well, that's perfect. You just turn that 9 and that 1, that's 10. That's perfect. Something could happen on that day. Father's Day. This Father's Day is either the 15th or the 16th. You know, I was supposed to have dinner with my dad one day on Father's Day, back before I got married, so it must have been 1983, Father's Day. And I was with Dan Dunn, and I was over at Harmony State Park, and we took some chocolate mess, and we was laughing our asses off in the park and stuff like that. You know, I remember Dan saying to me, John, so what are we celebrating today? Because, you know, Dan would always say, John, what are we doing? Oh, we're celebrating Father's Day. I'm so fucked up at the park. I am not going to my dad's place to go to dinner with George and Judy. You know, I've been there once before, and I did that with Patty one time, really fucked up, and I dumped milk on the table. There's nothing that fucking didn't go wrong in that one. I took mashed potatoes, I went like this, I flipped them on the wall, I went like this, I go, Jesus, I put the foot forward, knocked the milk over. Judy's like, George, get him out of here. I was fucked up that time. I showed up at Dad's house, and Patty was there too during that dinner. I just don't know why Patty was there with me, because maybe Patty wasn't there. I think Patty was there at that dinner too. Patty was also at that dinner that time when Lisa came over, Black Lisa. She got her hands and feet cut off. Jane Doe Lisa right there. You know, my family's my friends, and my friends are my family now. I mean, if you're my friends, I'll be your friend, you know. But whatever. I don't want your money. I don't want you to give money to me. Matter of fact, I don't think you should give any money to these churches. God's temple is inside of you. You know, that's one major thing that he wants you to know, that your temple is inside of you. You do not have to go to any of these here buildings and give them your hard-earned money to these panhandlers. They're fucking panhandlers, you know. And God's livid about that, people being ripped off from people. If you've ripped somebody off, you better fucking pay them, because God Almighty demands that you fucking pay your debts. God Almighty demands it, and I'll be paying my debts too. Hey, I just ran up almost a $2,000 bill on this here motorhome, and I said I was going to pay it on my payday, and I told Alex I was going to fix it. I would pay it, and Alex fixed my motorhome, and he fucking returned it on Friday before the weekend. And Alex gets an A in my book at Four Seasons Automotive for doing this automotive work. I mean, I could bitch, moan, and complain about having to pay a $2,000 bill on Friday because he fixed it. I'll pay it. I break it. He mends it. And that's the way it does. You got to keep your goddamn word. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to be juggling my finances around. I might have to call Burkett's up and talk to Misha about holding my payment till next month, and I'll make a double payment. But at least I'll be goddamn honest to my creditors, where most people don't. They don't want to even open up their fucking mail and see their bills. The first thing you do is you just get it all out there in the open, and you figure out what the bottom line is, and you start taking care of your fucking business and stuff, and stop leaning on others. You know what? There's a lot of people that are doing good, are doing great. And I'd just as soon be one of those people instead of these maggots that I've seen around me. They are maggots, and they're Republican maggots. All of them are Republicans. Susan Donahoe, she claimed to me, no, I'm a Democrat. I said, no, Susan, you're lying. I said, you're a registered Republican voter. And I'm right. And she got the guy with a red truck. So you know what that's just the mentality of it. These guys want to have women's status. These guys want to have women's status. That's why they want these women to go in their bathroom door, because for one, they're gay. I mean, it's just, here, I don't mind women liking women at all. Why? Because men have offended women so fucking bad that they only have each other. I understand that. I meet women all the time. Hey, I'm talking to you, and I'm John. I've got a scar underneath my arm. I'm Adam in the flesh, ladies. And by the way, test me. It's easily done. Anyway, I better get off this, because, what? We've got all sorts of traffic around us. But anyway, it's going for 21 minutes, and it's very hot. I just want to touch base with you, and thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for coming to my YouTube site. And it's our YouTube site. This is where I touch base with you over what the Holy Father has in plan. The Holy Father's plan is, he wants, there's going to be people that are not going to be saved. They're just going to be blotted out. No matter what they're claiming to you, Jesus is not the Lord. It's just not so. They're fucking lying. They're sheep's in wolves' clothing. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. I often get things turned around. But so did you guys. You think that women are men and men are women, twisted in their minds. Women are superior to men. And I'll tell you that. I was taught that by Satan and Eve over this Friday the 13th thing. I have a lot of love people that's in hell. And I'm telling you the truth. I have to perform because I made a deal with the Holy Father to perform too. At least once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, or once every other month. And if I go once the other month, well, you won't be seeing me very often. And I'll be singing here behind your back, and also Satan and Eve and everybody in hell will continue to see me whether I talk or not, but they like what I'm doing. They like the message being out. If you want to rebroadcast and stuff, or videos and stuff, please do, because I'm reminded of this all the time. Word of mouth is our best salesman on this one. and that may come from John with his thing, but I'm structured towards the Holy Father, so I could say things that are really funny, but I don't cross the line. Hey, you know what? You could do it too. Hey, I'll talk to you later. It's hot, and I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.